We learned today that the CEO of Starbucks has met with two black men who were arrested for trespassing last week at one of the company's Philadelphia stores, all because they sat down at a table without buying anything. A manager called police when the men said that they were waiting for someone. No charges were filed, but outrage has been spreading since the incident happened a few days ago. Starbucks CEO Kevin Johnson has apologized, and I'm going to talk to him in just a moment. But the sad truth is, what happened in that Starbucks could happen any place in this country. Millions of people of color could tell similar stories. And as we all know, it's not just Starbucks. Racism is a problem we all need to face, whether we're black or white or brown. Joining me now is Kevin Johnson, President and CEO of Starbucks. Thank you so much for joining us, Kevin. How are you doing?
I'm well, Don. Thank you.
I want to start with the incident itself and the arrest of the two black men at one of your locations in Philadelphia. This is the video that caught national attention. Let's play it. Watch it for a moment.
What did they get called for? Because there are two black guys sitting here meeting?
So, Kevin, when you first saw this video of those men arrested and handcuffed, what went through your mind?
Well, Don, you watch that video, it's hard to watch. And my heart sank. And that's why I'm here in Philadelphia. You know, what happened to those two young men should not have happened. The police being called and them being arrested, they didn't deserve that. And so I'm here in Philadelphia with many from my leadership team to make sure that we listen, learn, and that we understand how this could have ever happened, and then take the set of actions to ensure it doesn't happen again.
Well, Kevin, sadly, what you saw in that video, it's not surprising to most African Americans. And you said your heart sank. It's hard to watch, but were you surprised? A lot of people are surprised by it, or they don't believe it happened.
Well, you know, we saw it on that video, and you know, in the opportunities I've had this last few days with my leadership team to meet with community leaders, the mayor, police commissioner, you know, many others, including the two young men who were arrested. You know, it's clear to me that there's something in our society that I think we need to take seriously.
So, well, what do you think that is? So there's something in our society we need to take seriously. What do you think that is, Kevin?
Well, one of the actions that we announced today, and this is just one step in a journey to focus on the things that we can do to ensure that our Starbucks partners and the experience we create for each and every person that walks into our stores is the kind of experience that we are proud of, the kind of an experience where every person that walks in our door can feel safe and welcome. And so the first step that we are taking is on May 29th, in the afternoon, we are closing all 8,000 plus Starbucks company-operated stores in the United States for mandatory training around unconscious bias, conscious inclusion, and working to not only educate but sensitize every Starbucks partner to this issue.
Listen, I think it's great that you're doing something, but do you think you can do that? You can accomplish that in one afternoon? You have 175,000 partner employees across the country that you have to deal with. I mean, realistically, in one afternoon, is that going to?
Well, Don, this is not the only thing that has to happen. You know, I've been on the ground here for 3 days. I've had very little sleep. I've been actively engaged to listen and understand, and we are crafting a journey. This is the first step in our journey. And I have an accountability to make sure that you know, we do the thoughtful analysis, that we are thorough, and that we are intentional about every step we take to ensure that we can do everything we can so that this doesn't happen again to anyone who comes to a Starbucks. Now, that's why I'm here.
Do you, listen, I know no company is perfect. This company I work for is not perfect. But there have been incidences at Starbucks before. Were you aware of those? And was there any action taken? Because there have been similar incidents before at Starbucks.
Well, you know, I think, as you pointed out, that, you know, every company makes mistakes, and great companies are companies that learn from those mistakes and take action, and that's the responsibility that I have.
You met with the two men. Can you tell me what those conversations were like?
Well, I had asked to personally meet with the two young men who were arrested, and I had that opportunity yesterday, and I apologized to them personally. I listened as they shared their personal experience with me of what they went through, Don, and they didn't deserve that. And from there, I think we had a very constructive dialogue around perhaps how we can take a very bad instance and turn it into something good.
You know, I've interviewed thousands of people in my career, and you know, I don't know if it's if you're exhausted or if you know how this really affected you. Maybe it's a combination, but you seem to be really affected by this. What's going through your head?
Well, you know, it's been an emotional experience, and spending these 3 days on the ground and sitting across from these young men and really trying to understand how this could happen in today's society in a Starbucks. In a Starbucks, where our mission is around the human experience and creating a warm, welcoming environment for everyone. And so for me, it's a learning experience. It's an emotional learning experience, and I take it personally. So yeah, I'm affected by it, and I'm going to fix it.
Yeah. So I'll ask you again, because listen, I'm a man of color, and I've dealt with this, and just about every person of color I know has dealt with this. What do you say again to people who don't believe these things happen, or that that it's being exaggerated? What do you say to that, having experienced what you just experienced?
Well, Don, I guess the only way I could describe this is you have to go through this personally, where you have the opportunity to sit across the table from two young gentlemen and hear them share their experience. And in doing that, you learn to listen with your heart. I think this has to do with human connection and being open to sharing vulnerabilities and listening to others' vulnerabilities. And it starts with a dialogue. Mm-hmm. And it starts with being open-minded and willing to have the courage to have that dialogue. And that's what I think those two young men and I had yesterday. We had a human connection because we share one thing in common. Every one of us on this planet shares the human experience.
Did you ever speak directly to the manager?
I did, yes.
Do they work there any longer? Have they been reassigned, fired?
Well, that manager is no longer in that store. And my responsibility is to look broadly and review every aspect of this, including the actions that manager took and everything related to guidelines, policies, and training that went into this. And the fact is that the police should have never been called. That was wrong. And I've got to look at every aspect to ensure that I understand it and that this journey we go on ensures that it never happens again.
Kevin Johnson, thank you so much.
Thank you, Don.